Hey everyone, this is Eric Franklin with your Garrison Public Affairs Office. This week on the episode, we had people from the 1st Cavalry Division talking about their great MOSs, or the jobs that they do in the Army. We also heard a little bit about a Safety Awareness Day coming up next month. All that and more on the Great Big Podcast.
Hello everyone, I'm one of your co-hosts, Specialist Garrett Dacko with 11th Signal Brigade, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Colonel Timothy D. Gatlin from the 1st Cavalry Division Artillery. And might I just say, it's a pleasure to have you on today, sir, so thank you for coming in.
No, thanks. It's really a pleasure. I'm honored to be here with you, Dacko and Eric, share a little time with you, see where the conversation goes today. So,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, sir, I see that I know that you went to West Point, but where did you start your schooling at? Where are you originally from?
So I'm a Texan, native Texan.
All right.
Born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Mom and dad are still there. I'm the oldest of 3 boys.
Okay.
Greg and Kevin are still in Houston. I've got my nieces and nephews still there. So, this, in some ways, coming back, to Texas is a bit of a homecoming because I left, when I was 18, went to West Point for 4 years, and actually had my first duty assignment here as a 2nd lieutenant.
Okay.
Wow.
When there were 2 divisions, so 4ID, 1st Cav. I wear the 1st Cav patch now, but I guess I was on the wrong side of the track as a 2nd lieutenant. But great unit, great experience, and then left, and now I'm back as a elder statesman, I guess, and in charge of the 1st Cavalry Division's Artillery Brigade.
Okay. So, speaking of Division Artillery, and you said that you were here before, you were on Fort Hood years ago. Just seeing that transition from how Fort Hood grew from when you were a 2nd lieutenant to now. Yeah. For you, how was that? How was that seeing that?
You mean coming back?
Coming back, yes.
So, when I found out I was going to get this unit, I was like, oh, wow. I started calling some of my old friends we were all here together before. And I said, hey, I get a chance to come back. And I wonder how much it's changed. And so with the previous commander, my predecessor, he invited me to come back in March of last year. And so when I landed, I was like, wow, a lot of growth.
Yeah.
We lived in Harker Heights. Harker Heights was just starting out at the time, in 2000. But now it's full-blown city and, kind of crowded.
Yeah.
Copper's Cove has changed quite a bit. I think it is more developed now than what it was, 20 some odd years ago. But the sprawl is interesting. 195 is now more than just a 2-lane highway.
Yeah.
It was much more dangerous when I was lieutenant. I mean, that was a concern for both division commanders because we had a lot of vehicular fatalities on that road to Austin. So, but great city. I've had the opportunity to meet, the Killeen mayor, the Harker Heights mayor, and our monthly meetings with the Corps commander. So it's great. It's just all in all, it's been a great experience for me. My family, Janine, my 2 girls. We live here on the installation, so can't complain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about what was your career path that led you on the path to not only going to West Point, getting accepted into West Point, but then saying, you know what, I want to do the military and I want to do it as a career, because a lot of people only do it for 10 years, especially with officers. Sometimes it's like, oh, I just want to do my time, get my pay back my education, and then I'm done. Yeah. What was it for you that said, you know what, I want to keep this going. I want to continue.
I don't know if it was just me per se. To start, I did not think I was going to go to West Point. It was a list of schools. There were a list of schools. West Point was on it, but it was not at the top of my list.
Okay.
I said oldest of 3. We were all athletes, so we all played football here. We all played in college. And so there were things that were in the works for me on that front. There was also stuff that was happening for me with Ivy League schools. And so I just didn't know if I was going to go to West Point, but, just by chance, there was a guy that showed up at my high school, and they had a whole presentation on West Point. And he didn't spend a lot of time talking to me, but he did talk to my parents,
okay,
Mary and Henry, and scheduled the visit.
Okay.
And so I went there, and he turned out to be my history professor.
Wow.
He's a retired 2-star, Major General Barry Price. And, he kind of took me under his wing and made sure, that I got acclimated, got settled, plugged into the community there, and, really kind of matriculated through the process, the 47-month process that is the academy. And so, coming out on the other side of that, obviously this was my first duty station, but, a number of assignments, I think all the standard stuff that an artillery officer would go through in terms of being a platoon leader, XO, battery commander. But, I've had some unique opportunities. As a battery commander, we were basically a helicopter assault force that was allowed to go all over Iraq, chasing bad guys. So that was a unique mission for us, for me as a young captain. Feel great time in Colorado Springs with an excellent unit out of 4ID 24 Warhorse.
Okay.
Got a chance to deploy with them as well. 125 as a young captain out there at JBLM with Lancers. Then Colonel Robert Brown, he would go on to be the USAPAC commander. And just a fabulous group of field grades and, captains in that unit. But I never thought, I didn't know if I wanted to stay in after my lieutenant time here at Fort Hood.
Okay.
And it was really, General Price in concert with my first sergeant, Calvin Rollison. My first sergeant was funny. He's like, "Sir, you're not getting out. you're gonna go to the career course, and then you're gonna go to a different unit, and you're gonna command." He's like, "You're not allowed to get out until after you command," which was the same message that General Price gave me. And so I did that. I took command in the automatic battalion. And then, things just kind of started to happen and uncoil, and, here I am. I've been fortunate to be around, leaders in the Army who have, number one, given me the benefit of the doubt, trusted me, and included me in their units. And I think that is, by and large, what's kept me going. And I've tried to mimic that at each stage of my career, whether that is battery command, battalion command, now in brigade command, to mimic those habits and create those climates that I saw coming up as a younger officer.
So, sir, I did want to ask, because I have no idea what it's like to be in an artillery unit.
Sure.
I'm signal to the Corps.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, we love our signaliers and artillery units, right?
Amen. But I did want to ask, especially with the cavalry too, what's it like to serve as an artillery officer?
So, I mean, again, not my first rodeo with the cavalry,
right?
So, as a dragoon, 2nd CR, I served as a captain. The cavalry has its own set of traditions that are unique to the cavalry, but I think what is consistent is that everything's predicated on building cohesive teams that, are built on a foundation of trust and where everyone feels valued, right? So I don't care if it's a cavalry unit, artillery unit, infantry unit, armor unit, doesn't matter.
Airborne unit.
Airborne unit. If you're starting with those key ingredients, I think the experience, by and large, takes care of itself. Yeah.
And I did want to ask this. I think you touched on it a little bit. You were actually requested to come to 1st Cav, or reached out to come back to 1st Cav. But did you kind of want to come back?
So, I mean, for us, there's a slate.
Okay.
Right? And 1st Cav was on it with a number of other divisions that I could have gone to, but 1st Cav was my first choice.
Oh, wow.
we get a wish list, right?
Okay.
Or not really a wish list. Hey, this is what's available. And so,
it's maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, you put in your preferences, right?
Okay.
And so my first preference was for the 1st Cavalry Division. So, I wasn't told to come here. I essentially said, hey, this is where I want to go. And the Army said, sure, you can go.
All right. Fantastic.
Everyone loves coming to the great place. If it's on the list,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most people are going to come to Texas. Just saying.
Right.
Not just people who are from Texas, because we know no matter where we are in Texas, we're home. So we're good.
Right.
I'm not from Texas, but when I saw Fort Hood, I was like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah, see?
I could definitely do that.
No, that's what most people think. Yeah, for sure.
So, sir, tell us a little bit about what your unit's mission is.
So, I mean, for the DIVARTY, it's kind of twofold and maybe even threefold, but there is what I like to call an up and out mission where the DIVARTY, I have spent a lot of time, my first 6 months in command, really focused on making sure that my staff, the DIVARTY staff, is integrated with the division staff, because there is a mission that we provide to the 1st Cavalry Division commander, with me as his fire support coordinator / DIVARTY commander, and his principal advisor on all things that are fire support related. From surface to surface fires to joint fires to non-lethal effects, and how we want to employ those now in large-scale combat, before in contingency, counterinsurgency operations, counterterrorism operations. Right. So I think that is one aspect. The other aspect is how we work with direct support, the direct support artillery battalions that are married or partnered with the maneuver brigades. And so really where that mission resides is making sure that they are ready to provide, accurate, precise, efficient, and effective fires in support of brigade level maneuver commanders. And a lot of that comes, from our level of expertise at DIVARTY, looking down and in and making sure that, hey, they are trained and ready to compete and win at our DIRT CT combat training centers. Mm-hmm. Think National Training Center, Joint Readiness Training Center, Joint Multinational Readiness Center in Hohenfels. So that's where I think we've got this twofold mission of where it's up and out, helping the division win the deep fight, and then also down and in, helping our maneuver brigades with fires in the close fight.
Yeah. Have you been out there?
So I haven't been out there,
or been close enough to an artillery round, or to hear it.
Yes. I like that. Like, it shakes you to your core.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
That. No, there's definitely a thump.
Yeah. I could hear it from the barracks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you live. Yeah. So it's right down the street for you. For me, I live way out there, and I still hear it at the house. But I say all that to say, your experience has been I don't want to say not the norm, but your experience going through being an artilleryman or being in field artillery, how has that shaped you as you?
I mean, I don't know if artillery shaped me. I think, much of my shaping took place back in Houston with my mom and my dad, and, what I grew up around in terms of, hey, I like to talk in, three terms: faith, family, friends, right? Mm-hmm. So definitely grounded in faith. Family is obviously something that I hold quite dear. But, for me as an artillery officer, and I guess, I'll give some recent, experience. We just finished up a couple of weeks with the Steel Squadron in 3rd Cavalry Regiment. We were out doing battery level certifications. And there's really nothing like it, especially for, a seasoned guy like myself. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I'm an old guy now. I'm the old man. But there's nothing like being on the firing point when a unit is going in for occupation. It's a beautiful dance that takes place between the gun line and the fire direction center. Then when the communication comes together, and then they start sending rounds downrange. It is once they get going, once they build that momentum, there's not much that I think can stand in the way of it. And so, from the hill with our fire supporters calling it in, lasing in targets down on the firing point, it's like a shot in the arm. you get a chance to interact with young captains, first sergeants, young lieutenants. You get to see their eyes. They're wide-eyed, and they're in it. They're in it because for them. Hey, it's all about putting steel on target, and you can see. Once the cab drops in an FMTV and you watch the soldiers like burst out of the back of the truck to put the howitzer in position, or you watch a paladin, roll in, a battery of paladins roll in to occupy a position area for artillery. There is not much that I think can mimic that or can be copied in the Army, especially what happens on the other end.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, truth be told, I almost chose armor coming out of the academy. But the guys who were going artillery, I said, hey, if I'm going to do this for 5 years, I think those are the type of guys that I want to be around.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a good time with it, and so that it wouldn't feel like work.
Yeah.
And I think the people that you surround yourself with, oftentimes, make whatever bumps in the road more bearable. So, the people, what happens in the field, and then family. That's kind of the recipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all that I have. Garrett, did you have anything else?
I don't have anything else. I just want to say, sir, thank you so much for coming and talking with us today. I kind of want to take a trip over to Divardi now and see what it's about.
Hey, we're on Legends Way, right? I think, what's the building number? 10,053.
In that area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on over. I mean, you can't miss it. The building is named after my old Divardi commander.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Colonel Ben Allen, or General Ben Allen. So he was my Divardi commander when I was a second lieutenant.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, sir?
No, I mean, this was awesome. Thanks for allowing me to spend time with you, Eric. You, Specialist Dachau. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
We're excited about the future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all take care.
Bye.
Hey everyone, not going to be online for a while. Got a big mission to kill some terrorists in Terra Islamabad tomorrow, so don't worry about me.
An ambush today left 15 soldiers dead outside of Terra Islamabad.
Will your next Facebook post or tweet kill you or your friends? The terrorists are waiting for you to give them the information they need to kill Americans and the American dream. When you share sensitive information on social networking sites, you might as well join the terrorists. Don't be a terrorist. Remember OPSEC.
This message brought to you by the Don't Help Terrorists Murder the American Dream Coalition.
Hey, yeah, we're going to take a real quick minute here, and we're going to talk to our next-door neighbors here in the building from the safety office. Do you mind telling us what your names are?
My name's Dustin Shuffler. I'm with Garrison Safety.
I'm Doug Huddleston with Garrison Safety.
Now, Doug, I know you've been on the podcast a few times, and I think you're new. This is the first time you've been on here, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. So I know in a couple of weeks we have a Safety Awareness Day coming up. Do you mind telling us a little bit about what you guys have going on and what that's all about?
Yeah, we have a really exciting opportunity for folks to come out. It's going to be Safety Awareness Day 2023, and we're going to be putting on a pretty robust safety venue. We want to call it Pause for the Safety Cause. It kind of gives us a whole day to focus, think about some things that would be helpful to folks that are out there. Now, our audience, we're looking for soldiers, civilians, their families, retirees, obviously Department of Army civilians, and support personnel. So we really are excited about this event coming up, and we're going to hopefully see everyone out there. We've got a flyer that's coming out, and we're going to be putting additional information out on that as well. But we appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk to you about it today.
As I look at it, Sean, tell me a little bit about what's your part going to be in it.
So I'm helping organize this, the whole event, and as far as obtaining vendors that are going to be coming out and giving examples on safety products that they have to offer for the not only the soldiers and their families, but the entire Department of the Army, DoD civilians and contractors included.
You know, I was looking at as I look at the map, I saw that they were going to have, I think it was DeWalt and a couple of other manufacturers out there showing the safety products. Just why is it important that not only the soldiers and the DA civilians, but family members know how to use power tools correctly?
Well, so they're going to be out there, providing safety equipment that hooks onto their power tools. So, like when we use drills, even at home and in the workplace setting, we still are all exposed to what's called silica dust. Well, these products have systems that can be equipped to like a hammer drill or different items that can actually take that silica dust away, and instead of being harmful to the person or the individual that's operating that equipment, it now removes that harm and takes it away. It's engineering that harm out of the situation. So DeWalt, like you said, DeWalt, Milwaukee, different companies like that are going to be providing those type of informational boosts.
But just if you guys, for the both of you, what would be the top 3 priorities if you want to tell someone about safety? What would be the top 3 things that you would tell them, Sean?
Top 3 things that I can see, is especially coming up in the summer months is water safety, and especially with young soldiers, older soldiers, families with young kids and stuff. In this area, particularly in the past, we've had several incidents where we've had casualties with people drownings and stuff at Belton and Stillhouse Lake. Well, we've partnered up with the Army Corps of Engineers and Texas Parks and Wildlife, and they're going to be coming. That's one of the major highlights is boater safety and swimming safety, water recreational safety in general. And I think that's a very, very, very key safety aspect, especially for this area, because our lakes are so such an attractant for so many families and individuals to go out. So I think that's probably my number one, safety venue that we got coming on board. Another one around here that kind of gets blindsided a little bit because not a lot of people think about it a whole lot, but we partnered up with one of our major partners here on Fort Hood, and that's Dominion Energy, who's coming out, and they're going to do an awesome, and when I say awesome, I get goosebumps when I talk about it, because the show that they do, to show an arc flash demonstration on what it's like if there's a down power line or you come in contact with the high voltage electricity and what can happen. That's going to be another awesome one. The third thing is going along the lines of vehicle and motorcycle safety again, and not only are we going to be talking about vehicle and motorcycle safety in general, we got a car show, motorcycle, and ATV. They're going to be coming out. We've got with a couple different car clubs in the area. Okay, we'll have over 80 cars on display, not including the motorcycles and ATVs that are coming out. Okay, so vehicle, motor, and motorcycle safety is going to be one of the big highlight events and stuff. And along with that vehicle and motorcycle safety, we got the Jaws of Life, which we were lucky enough that. The wrench apart out of Belton, they're bringing us 2 vehicles to let the fire department here on Fort Hood cut up and show how the Jaws of Life demonstration works. So a lot of highlighted awesome areas of people don't normally get to see. Yeah, they're gonna get to experience that and get not a hands-on but an eyes-on experience on what it's like. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And for you, what would be your top 3 things that people, as far as safety, what would be those top 3 things that you would want people to know? Yeah, just remember, we can put on a lot of things out there. We're going to have so many subject matter experts out there, just from our Army services, our MWR services. But think about when you're going out. I know Texas Parks and Wildlife will be out there. They're going to be talking about a lot of different things, hiking safety. When we go out and we go to a park, some safety rules. Army Corps of Engineers is going to talk about boating safety, and they're going to get into some of the things that address some of the issues we have, which are wear your PFD, your personal flotation device. Mm-hmm. Make sure you follow the rules of boating, and obviously do not operate a boat or a vehicle under the influence of any substance. So those are kind of the family, soldier related things that we're going to be looking at. So that'd be kind of my top 3. Okay. And before we get out of here, because I know someone's has asked us about it, did you guys hear about the alligator that was in Stillhouse over the weekend? Oh yeah,
I did not.
You did not.
They've been here for a long time.
See, they've been around.
So basically, you've just confirmed that there is something else I need to be worried about when I go in the water.
Absolutely.
But just real quick, tell me again when the Safety Awareness Day is going to be.
It's going to be on a Friday, May the 19th.
Okay.
It'll be from 0800 or 8 a.m. to about 4 p.m. or 1600. So really be a really good event. It'll be at the Phantom Warrior Stadium.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with that, there are maps obviously available. There's a flyer out on this, or you can contact our office.
Okay.
If you need information on it.
And it will be on the Facebook page. We're going to have it on our Facebook page. I think the day you see it, every day that you hear this, it's going to be on our Facebook page.
All right.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you.
Let's keep it real. You're out having fun, you have a few drinks, now you're ready to go home, and you're pretty confident you can drive yourself, right? Think again. Don't be that person. Have a plan, call a friend, and don't drink and drive.
Welcome. I'm Corporal Kyra Pearl with the 3rd Armored Corps Public Affairs Office, and we have 2 cavtastic guests with us today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Sergeant First Class Christopher Hammond. Currently, right now, the Operations NCO Public Affairs for the 1st Cavalry Division.
And I'm Specialist Fernando Rivera. I'm a UAS operator, a Unmanned Aircraft System operator from 91st BEB.
All right. Well, those sound like some interesting jobs. Would you like to explain what you mean by UAS and PAO?
Oh, I'll take it. PAO goes first, of course. PAO is usually the first one in. So I've been doing public affairs about 16 years. First duty station was AF in Korea, where I was a radio DJ for about a year. I had my own radio show. You woke up in the morning about 2008 in Korea in Camp Walker to Mr. Radio. And then from there, I did a little bit of broadcasting as well. From there, Fort Lewis to I deployed to Afghanistan with special operations, and then spent some time in Hawaii, where I just traveled all of the Pacific, videotaping and highlighting soldiers and kind of telling their story from many different vantage points and many different perspectives. Fortunate and blessed enough to head over to the Syracuse Newhouse School for Mass Communications, where I spent a year there on the Army's dime, I might add, for a broadening assignment at Syracuse University, and then came over here to Fort Hood, spent some time at the MPAD, where went over to France to help with the, I want to say, 75th anniversary of D-Day, and that was, videotaping, kind of coordinating public affairs support, media escorts, and then from there to the 1st Cavalry Division, where, public affairs encompasses almost everything media-wise, from media engagements, media escorts, to promoting, managing the social media platforms, to promoting kind of the Army or the 1st Cavs brand right now. So we kind of do a lot of things.
So if I were to dumb down what I heard PAO is, I would say you're a 1st Cav cameraman.
Yes and no. It's kind of, I give you that. And, 16 years, we get a whole lot of connection to combat camera, which we are definitely not combat camera. But so I would say definitely PAO is the marketing arm of any Army organization. That's what I would say.
That's a much fancier way to say it. And what about your job?
So I'm no radio DJ, but definitely. So for my job, it's more of a unmanned aircraft operator. So all I do is hop in a box. I control this nice little plane and get video footage, blow stuff up. Super cool, super fun. Honestly, it's been the greatest 5 years that I've had so far.
It sounds like doing video games for a living.
That's exactly what it is. Even the software is normal Link software, so everything is just like a computer.
Yeah.
You point and click to control the aircraft, and then you got a joystick to mess around with the camera.
And so for you, what made you decide that you wanted to fly UAS? Well, I don't want to call them drones, but what made you decide that you wanted to fly unmanned aircraft?
So for me, it was more of, I got inspired by my father. My pops told me hey, why don't you join? You've always been in the mix of things with me, because he was a prior, and he did 25 years.
Yeah.
Like he was in for a good bit of time, and I've seen him, like, even from, he was a specialist when I can, like, start speaking and stuff like that. He was a specialist, and then he grew up to be a first sergeant, and honestly, he inspired me to, like, all right, let's go. It's time. And for UAS, he was actually the one that gave me the idea. He had some friends over at Fort Rucker, and they were telling me, like, hey, this is, like, the newest of the new. This is where all the money's going into. You should jump on it.
And then you got here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The best
great
part
place.
is I got to come to where I was born. I was actually born here on Fort Hood.
That's even
what
better.
Talk about full circle ending.
Yep.
That's
Always.
so cool.
So for you, what is one of the biggest things about what are some of the skills that you've learned being a UAS operator that you think will carry over once you get out?
So I feel like kind of like getting a task and be able to complete it, to be able to keep having that drive to push yourself more and more. Like we get fragos all the time. So
Frago is a
fragmentation order.
There you go.
Yeah, fragmentation order. My bad. So we get fragos all the time. So we always have to change over to another position during flight and be able to act accordingly, rapid and concisely, so that way we can give them the best picture, do the mission that we need to do, or even drop some bombs.
Cool.
Like I leaned closer.
Casual.
He did just so casually.
I had to.
And for you, Son Hammond, what are some of the things that you've learned over your 16 years that's going to lead you to, once you get out in 4 years, or if you do the whole enchilada and do 30 years?
Whole enchilada.
So PAO public affairs is an amazing career field. I've been public affairs the whole time, and I've seen how much public affairs can transition to the outside world, and just the practical application of it is amazing. So I mean, essentially, what I've learned, just the technical aspect of skills. So because I was an original broadcaster.
Yeah.
So videography, photography, news writing, news editing. I mean, essentially now social media is rampant.
Yeah.
So, man, I ended up going to a school one time, and I told them I make TikToks for a living.
Yeah.
You know, like essentially we are content creators.
Yeah.
You know, and then managing some of the biggest platforms. I mean, right now we manage the first Cavalry Division. That's over 100,000 followers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we manage that in Hawaii, the same thing, you know. So on the outside, it just translates to so many different platforms and so many different areas. Truly, truly grateful for what I do.
And so how do you, for you, what are your plans once you get out? Since you've been in 16, you like I say, you don't, whether you do 4, whether you do 30, what are your plans, or what would you like to do once you get out?
Honestly, work at McDonald's. Honestly, no. So public affairs has afforded me so much, and throughout my career, I've been offered kind of job opportunities, especially when I got here. I was offered a spot at KDH. I actually offered a spot to come up here too. So I mean, there's a lot of opportunities, but I think honestly, when I get out, the Army is a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
When I get out, I want to get far away from soldiers. No offense to soldiers, but I'm hoping and praying I never see another soldier again.
Yeah.
I want to get far away and hopefully pursue finish up my degree and get into psychology. But you know, public affairs, I would tell anybody off the street, this is by far the best MOS, the job you can be in, and the most dangerous, which I usually get eyes for that.
Yeah.
Public affairs is the most dangerous.
I was gonna say, no offense to our other MOS in the room.
Yeah, it's okay. Slight offense. So you know, when I tell people, everyone always thinks that I was public affairs when I was in the Army. I was like, nope, I was a 7-4 Delta. Like I was a chemical. I did the gas mask, and I had a great time doing it. And I transitioned once I got out because it was something I was passionate about, taking pictures and about talking with people. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got to it. But the Army as a whole, I believe, afforded me that opportunity to love what I do and just to experience way more things than I think I ever would have if I had not joined the Army. I like that you said that you want to do something completely different. Like it's nothing wrong with it. I think that's it. It lets you know, like, hey, yeah, I want to go do it, but I guarantee you, once you get out, you're gonna be like, man, I kind of miss being a soldier. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna say that, and then you're gonna be like, yeah, I'm good. I love them, but I'm glad I had that opportunity. You're gonna look back on it. For you, how long do you plan on staying in?
Honestly, if everything lines up well, I want to go warrant officer.
Okay.
For the same exact thing, just as a warrant.
Okay.
So basically, I'd just be in charge of the flight line, make sure everybody's taken care of, both operator side and maintenance side. It sounds like a dream job, honestly.
So tell us a little bit about what your day is like as a UAS operator.
So right now we're in the field. So what we do is we'll have PT like super early in the morning. It'll be 5 o'clock morning show.
Yeah.
We knock out our PT early, so that way we're good to go do hygiene, come back, and then we basically suit up for going out to the field, drive out to the flight line, and then from there we kind of like prepare flight operations. So from there it's just like knocking out books, making sure everything is squared away paper-wise, and then make sure that the equipment's also good to go. As soon as we do that, we start our pre-flight. So right before we launch, we knock out all these steps, make sure everything's golden. And from there, we just launch it and start flying for hours on end.
So for you guys, I know if I'm a civilian and I fly a drone, I know it's not the same thing. Guys, I have to have an operator's license. Do you have to have, are you FAA certified, or how does that work for you guys?
So for us, while we were at the schoolhouse over at Huachuca, we were able to actually get our private pilot's license.
Oh.
So we go through ground school. We go through a kind of like a mission style class, which is just we'll go through gunnery. We'll go through kind of like the capabilities of what the Shadow can do.
Okay.
So I actually fly Shadow, not Gray Eagle.
The bigger one?
Shadow's better. Yeah, the bigger one has the Hellfires, and it's all pretty and nice, but Shadow's still going to be, no matter what, better.
Okay.
So Shadow is a smaller...
it's just a little smaller. So there's 3 different ones. There's the Raven, which is the one that gets put in the like backpack.
Yeah.
And then you have Shadow. Shadow is like, I want to say 16 feet wingspan.
Oh,
so
big.
it's the wings are big, and the body's like kind of small, because it's just holding the camera more than anything. And then you got Gray Eagle, which is the big like 6 foot tall one.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's like 20-foot wingspan, and it has Hellfire missiles. So
Okay.
that's the cool thing about Gray Eagle, but that's all they got on me.
That's all they got.
yeah.
So you're a private license. So do you fly drones personally, or do you just like, nah, I just do it for work?
So I actually have my commercial license to actually fly small unmanned drones.
Yeah.
I just have to renew it now that I'm coming up on my 2-year limit. So every 2 years, you got to renew your license, make sure everything's golden.
Makes sense.
So for your job in the Army, you get a job that you can, once you get out, the possibilities are endless, because there's always someone there's always all these drone companies, or there's all these companies out there that's like, oh man, we need someone who can do overhead surveying of a building or whatever. So you guys are set up, and then you got that stability of knowing that someone hires you. They're like, oh man, this guy, he's was in the Army for however many years. He's good to go. He's hard charging. We know that if we give him a task, he's gonna figure it out. And he was in the Cav. We already know he's gonna figure it out.
Fantastic, baby.
So Hammond, for you, what is your daily like? What is the day like for you?
Well, mine is a little different than his. I always start mine off with the spirit of the Cav. And I know y'all hear it if you go down Legends Way. We always started off with the spirit of the Cav. Sabers high. But usually, so now it's interesting. Becoming a senior NCO, it is a completely different shift in my day.
Yeah,
it is less of the where the rubber meets the road grind, and more of the behind the desk
paperwork,
creating orders and manning and staffing here, and managing more so. But honestly, when it was most amazing, my day consisted of going out and experience almost every. I want to say I've experienced almost every MOS, every job in the military, everyone. And the beauty of my job, public affairs, is we'll go out with the infantry,
Yeah.
You know, we'll go out with the UAS operators. We'll go out with the tankers. We'll go out with the SF operators. But once the mission is over,
yeah,
and they start to pitch tent and sleep, I go home because I got photos there. So
like,
while,
I'm
while
done.
y'all, you know, they'll sit out there in the field.
Yeah.
You know, and once I see them start building tents, I'm like, oh, what are y'all doing? They be like, oh, hey, PAO, you ain't staying out here? Nah, I got video to process. I got to get these photos.
I got work to do.
You gotta upload them ASAP.
You know, but the ability to see everyone in action and to see the different jobs is, you know, because we're not stuck in a motor pool.
Yeah.
Before becoming a senior, I was never behind the desk.
Yeah.
I was always out and with so many different MOSs and seeing so many different things and to film them, but then leave at the end.
Yeah.
Was amazing.
Okay.
I'm so glad that the Army gave you both these very different but very amazing opportunities.
Definitely.
So for either one of you guys can answer, what has probably been the best part of your career in the Army?
Probably for me, I want to say actually working with the Bulgarian Army. So on our last Europe rotation,
yeah,
we stayed in Bulgaria for almost the whole 9 months.
Okay.
And we were able to actually work with the Bulgarian Army, work with their artillery fires, and kind of like sell shadow to them to see if they might want to buy it.
Yeah.
But definitely it was a great time. We slept in one of their officer quarters. Like,
yeah,
the whole platoon was set up. They fed us. They traded us like we were kings, honestly. And it was just a great time. It was a great experience. Definitely do it again if I could.
That sounds so cool.
For you, Sahin?
I honestly, it's been the people I've met. I think that, you know, before you come in, you know, you have this preconceived, you know, perception of what the Army is supposed to look like, and like the kind of people you'll meet and the kind of faces that you'll see.
Yeah.
And, you know, going out 16 years, the amount of just amazing people I've met and the relationships I've formed. And it's crazy because like now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know these people outside of family.
Yeah.
You know, now they are like essentially a part of me. They're part of me. They're part of my family. They're part of my kids, you know?
Yeah.
And that right there is something that I'll never take for granted. And it is one of the most amazing feelings, you know, to have, you know, because I'm gonna be honest, you know, if you were a military brat or if you move when you're a child, like I have high school relationships people I don't even talk to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it's like I have people that I went to like basic training AIT with, and they'll still call me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we'll talk like it was just
yesterday.
You know, yes. Yep. It's like completely different MOSs we do, completely different duty stations, you know, but just to be able to sit on that phone and you at Fort Lewis now? Oh, Fort Lewis is terrible.
Yeah.
Where are you at now? You at Hawaii now? Oh, I can't wait to get back there. Oh, where are you at? You at Fort Hood? It's better than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, that has been, I can't even lie. It's probably the most amazing thing about this whole Army career I've had.
Okay. Real quick, one more thing that I have for both of you guys is where are you guys from? Where are you from?
So like I said, I was
born
actually
here, yeah.
born here in Fort Hood, but my family's from Puerto Rico.
So where did you join the Army from?
I joined over at Dothan, Alabama, over there by Fort Rucker.
Okay.
That was actually where I started. I went to the recruiting station, did everything was through Dothan. So
for you, what would you tell someone who 5 years ago you came in, if you could go back and tell yourself, hey, this was the best decision, or this is why we made a good decision by joining the Army, what would you tell your past self?
I'd tell them join and go ahead and do shadow, nothing else but shadow, and always shadow. No, but definitely like do something that you're really interested in.
Yeah.
Like if it calls out to you, go for it. Like it definitely did for me, especially like I said, with my father being like the person like kind of poking at me.
Yeah.
To be able to actually like go and do it. If it wasn't for him, I'd probably I worked at a Honda dealership prior to even joining. I'd probably still be there or at another place.
Okay. And for you, Sahim, where are you originally from?
East Orange, New Jersey.
Okay. So New Jersey. So you're a New Jersey Drive. So basically, okay. So the New Jersey Drive movie was not based on your childhood.
Negative.
Loosely. Okay. I know.
Quite a few similarities.
So for you, being from East Orange, New Jersey, what would you tell someone who was 16 years ago? What would you tell yourself or someone else who was like, oh man, this is what I've done coming from East Orange?
that's just dope. So I've actually thought about that quite a bit, especially as I look to retire. I would tell them to do research, because I think a lot of the time the Army does not, and that's why I'm so grateful for this right here. The Army does not highlight the amount of MOSs, the amount of jobs. When I say MOSs is jobs, the amount of jobs that you can do, like we have people right now, in the CAV who are rock stars, legitimate rock stars. Like they go out and they sing and perform with the band.
Yeah.
We have people in the Army who, and I was telling the kids one day, people in the Army who just do video games.
Yeah.
We have people who in the Army play competitive video games. People who box. We have, UAS operators. You have, TikTok content creators. You have so many unique jobs and so many opportunities. I think the Army at the end of the day pushes that, combat is, combat is always number one, and combat is always number one. But at the end of the day, everyone else behind them is what sustains that fight and what makes the Army what the Army is.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see, how many unique MOSs. I mean, me and, Specialist Rivera, we were chopping it up before, and, he had let me know that his MOS is a new one as well.
Yeah.
And it's like the Army is standing up so many new different jobs and different skills. I would tell anyone to do your research.
Yeah.
Definitely do your research. And it's not about war.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get, especially where I'm from, the first, when you think of the Army, you think, oh, I'm going to war, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And the Army is so much more than that. And for me personally, I never knew the Army. So this changed my stars. I'm from East Orange, New Jersey, and I done been all over this world. I mean, all over this world. New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia, Thailand, Germany, France, all over this world, Poland, and I'm from East Orange, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I lived in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Lived there. it was a home. I would go out and, have a good time at the beach, but I would go to my home where I lived.
Not the hotel.
Not the hotel.
Yeah.
And it's just a completely different, and the Army did that. And I get the fear. I do. I understand it. When if you don't know something, but I'm gonna be honest. Do your research. There's so many other programs outside. I think people just get focused on, they'll pay for college, but there's so many other programs. There's so many, affiliated sister programs, brother programs, within the Army that are right at your fingertips that can get, the next, poor kid from East Orange, New Jersey, out to see the world too. So that's definitely what I would tell them.
Okay.
Powerful.
Yeah.
We definitely need to diversify the amount of MOSs people learn about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but the whole focus is the things that go boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you don't see the brains that go into everything else behind it.
How that boom gets where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like even for a UAS operator, you watch a movie and the movie will have him somewhere off in America. He's right out there.
Yeah. He's right there. He's a couple of miles away, but he's there.
Yeah, but the movies will have him in some secret bunker underneath the Pentagon operating. And it's like,
out of Iconics.
Yeah. It's like, no,
with no AC.
We're out there, So I do disagree with, the fact that we don't do that enough and highlight that enough. So
okay.
Thank you both so much for coming today. Is there anything you'd like to say before you leave?
Like I said, Shadow is the best of every platform that you can get. Definitely, thank you so much for having us here. It was a great experience. Would love to come again, honestly.
Well, for me, I'm a PAO, so if you how your tour in the schoolhouse is, if you leave it to me, I'm gonna go ahead and plug this commandment. First team, courageous, audacious, victorious.
Sabers high.
No. Honestly, the last thing I would say is I think recruitment is a big thing for the Army. Yeah. And I would tell anyone there's a lot of people that look like you. There's a lot of people that talk like you. There's a lot of people that are from the background where you are from, who have the same, kind of family dynamic you have, a lot more than you will ever know. Yeah. There's a lot of people who, get in for the same situations or same circumstances. So I would just advise them to, don't judge it, because I do feel, especially like where I came from, it was like, man, if you only the true patriots sign up for the Army, like, I want to go die for America. Yeah. And then when you get in, you meet so many people who are, no, I came in for my family. I came in for my kids, or I came in to get college paid off, or I came in for this, or I came in for that. and just that connection, so I would just, plug the Army in a sense that you'd be surprised what it can do. You really would. And I would tell them always go in and have fun.
Okay.
So, PAO.
Whoop whoop.
All right. Thank you guys for coming out, and we will talk with you guys later.
Thank you.
Listen closely.
Hey, specialist, looking sharp in those OCPs.
Get a little closer, Private. I don't bite.
Now what do you hear?
Hey, specialist, looking sharp in those OCPs.
Get a little closer, Private. I don't bite.
Know the difference between casual comments and sexual harassment. Unwanted sexual advances are never tolerated. If you see it or experience it on or off post, it's up to you to take action. This is our Army.
Okay, so first off, I have to introduce myself. This is Samantha Harms with the Garrison Public Affairs Office.
Hi.
Hello. Second, I have to say that I am bummed that I missed those interviews.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, I even though I am public affairs, I learned a lot about public affairs.
That's good.
I learned about
You
UASs.
learned about your own job.
Yeah, I did. As a soldier, I didn't do it as a soldier, so it was different. It's different seeing it from the other side.
Yeah.
Then we learned about UAS operators, and then we spoke with a commander who's the Davarti commander who does a bunch of cool field artillery stuff that we got to go out there and check it out.
Heck yeah. We love soldiers, and we love all the things that they get to do every day. And we love learning about it and bringing it to our listeners so
we do.
that they have the opportunity to learn as well.
Yes, we do.
Speaking of things to do,
dun, dun.
It's time for news briefs. News. So they are pretty similar to last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if people are listening in real time, we want to remind you that you still have the opportunity to sign up and participate in the Mobilization Support Brigade's 10-mile fun run, or their 10K or 5K. It is on April 22nd. So if you are listening in real time, you only got a couple days before it is happening. So yeah, go check that out. And then, of course, we have to talk about redesignation still.
Mm-hmm.
It's still happening. Still coming up so fast, May 9th.
It is.
Fort Hood is redesignating to Fort Cavazos. And with that, social media is going to change.
Yeah.
So our pages are going to change. And of course, if you follow us on social media when the name change happens, on our social sites at least, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
You know, you'll continue on following us. So we recommend you follow us now so that there's no confusion.
So you can say you're
an OG.
Yeah, you're an OG. You've been there.
Original. You were here from the beginning.
Yes. So.
Yes. So all of our social sites right now are at USAG Fort Hood.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up our username, you'll find us real easy. And the only other thing that we got to make sure we mention is the Fort Hood Sentinel will become the Fort Cavazos Sentinel May 11th, which is in line with the redesignation of Fort Hood. So I highly recommend you pick up our May 4th edition.
Mm-hmm.
May the 4th be with you, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is the last Fort Hood Sentinel that's ever being produced.
The last one.
And then the May 11th will be the first Fort Hood, or excuse me, I'm so excited. The first Fort Cavazos Sentinel.
Collector's editions.
They really are. I'm pretty pumped about them.
Yes. Whoever gets on the front page, above the fold on the page, is going to be legendary, because they're going to be like, yo, I was the first person on the brand new Fort Cavazos Sentinel page. They're going to be famous.
This is true. Yeah. So I'm excited for all the things to come. I know we've had, how dare I forgot the last news brief. I was going to say, I'm excited for the next wave of news briefs because I already know what's coming naturally.
Of course.
But I forgot one. So Fort Hood has gone through a change for people who are living on the installation.
Uh-huh.
Fort Hood Family Housing is now requiring renter's insurance. This started on April 1st. So it's been happening already. It's for people who have new leases or are renewing year-long leases. So if you need more information about that, we recommend that you contact your community office.
Mm-hmm.
They will be able to give you all the details on that.
And again, that it's just to keep you guys safe, and
Absolutely.
it's to keep your pets safe. If anyone's at your house, or if something gets damaged at your house, if it's an accident, it doesn't have to come out of your pocket, because it can get expensive.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So yeah, it definitely is here to protect you more than anybody else.
Yeah.
So absolutely. Yeah, I think that's all I've got.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Just make sure you guys have a great weekend, and you guys are out there taking care of each other.
Or a great day if you're not listening in real time.
Yes, or a great day. And either way, make sure you're taking care of each other.
Absolutely. All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison Fort Hood and Fort Hood Public Affairs production. The show's theme music is written and produced by Delicious All-Stars. All our music is obtained through Filter by Songtrader. Have a question or want to share some insights with us? Email us at forthoodpao@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at USAG Fort Hood. And as always, be sure to leave a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.